Alright lads, welcome back to another video, and this one is going to be me talking about my opinion on the best player from every single championship team currently in the 2019-20 season. Of course, as you can see, I've changed the scenery up once again, and this time I'm in front of Alloa Athletics ground, a current SPFL championship team, and that is the main reason why I'm here, to be fair. I'm going to do a Premiership one, but only if you hit the like button on this video and you prove to me that you want a Premiership version of this, where I go through every Premiership team and I tell you who I think their best player is, who each team's best player is. If you want a Premiership version of that, hit the like button. But as I said, this is the Championship version of it, so let's get into it. I'm going to do it in order of where the teams are placed in the league at this point. So first up is Dundee United, and the player that I think is the best player at Dundee United, I don't think it takes much explaining, it's Lawrence Shankland. The guy is goals defined. If you looked up goals in the dictionary, you would find Lawrence Shankland. And yes, he's not provided a hell of a lot in the last two games, where Dundee United have lost both games against Alloa and Queen of the South. 5 goals conceded and none scored. And yes, I've just said Lawrence Shankland defines goals, but outside of those two games, that is literally all he has done so far this season, especially in a Dundee United shirt. Of course, he's also had a call-up for Scotland, which adds to that as well, because he got his goal on his starting debut for the Scotland national team against San Marino. Dunfermline are actually going to be playing Dundee United away at Tannadice this coming weekend, and I'll tell you for one thing, I'm not looking forward to seeing Lawrence Shankland get chances against us. Second in the table just now is Ayr United, and that is the next team I'm going to go on to talk about. And the best player at Ayr United, in my opinion, is more a general thing for myself, because I really rate Stephen Kelly, the midfielder that's on loan for Rangers currently, and he is the best player in my opinion at Ayr United. But for some of these teams in each league, I'm going to say a player that I would caveat that with, to say that they're also a very good player in my opinion as well, and Alan Forrest is up there for Ayr United as well. Obviously I've said Stephen Kelly is officially, in my opinion, the best player that Ayr United have, but Alan Forrest is definitely up there as well, and he's proven that season upon season with Ayr United as well, because he came through the ranks with Ayr and he's providing goals season after season. Stephen Kelly though, in my opinion, just pips it, because I just believe he's got so much quality, so much natural given quality, that it's hard to deny a player like that. Moving on from Ayr United, and now in third place Inverness, who could have possibly went top of the league if they'd won their recent match against Alloa Athletic, but they didn't. They currently sit third, and the best player at Inverness at the moment, I believe, is Aaron Doran. And a lot of these opinions are based on my own personal opinion, obviously. It's not a case of this is definitely the best player at each club. I did obviously have the options of players like James Keatons as well, but Aaron Doran has been a consistent performer for Inverness over a lot of seasons now, in the Premiership and now in the Championship. And I just always think when Aaron Doran is in an Inverness team, I just think that he's always got that bit of quality in him to snuff a chance out from literally anything. Now moving on down to fourth in the Championship, and the last promotion playoff place as it currently stands is held by Queen of the South. And like Dundee United, I think it is quite obvious who I'm going to go with here. It's your man Stephen Dobie. The guy is an absolute legend at Queen of the South. That was proven by the fact that he has a wood carving of him in and around Queen of the South Stadium, I believe, or it's definitely within the town. And that just goes to show how much of an impact Stephen Dobie has on Queen of the South as a club and in their current team. If they didn't have Stephen Dobie last season, they would have been relegated, and that is pretty much fact. So that just goes to show how big an impact Stephen Dobie has had on Queen of the South and will continue to have. This past weekend scored 2 against Dundee United in their 4-0 win, which has now put them up into that promotion playoff place. So all credit to him. He's a fantastic player, and he will go down in Scottish football folklore as one of the best players to play in the lower leagues. Moving on down to fifth, and it's Dundee, and it's another player who has come from Rangers, and it's Gilliam Dutton. I think he's just probably got the most quality within the Dundee squad. And a side note to that is I also really like Sean Byrne, and that's probably more of my personal choice, just because I really like what Sean Byrne's done with his career. He's made big choices in his career in recent years where after he got released from Dunfermline, he had the choice of where he was eventually going to go, and he chose to go to Livingston, and that completely changed his career. David Hopkin was the manager there, and he moulded Sean Byrne into a completely different player to what he was at Dunfermline, and he's now moulded into the player he is today. And I think he's got a lot of quality that we didn't perhaps see at Dunfermline, and he's now moulded himself, as I said, into a player that really fits into a lot of systems and a lot of teams and can be very effective. But for me, as I said, it's Graham Dorrans. I just think that the natural given talent that Graham Dorrans has, it can't be denied. And coming from a club like Rangers as well, you're always going to have that type of quality. And he's played down in England, of course. He's got the quality that you do need as a football player. And there's no doubting that he is one of the best players at Dundee, and in my opinion, the best. Next up is Arbroath. I think it's pretty obvious who I'm going to pick here as well. It's Bobby Lynn. And another club legend at the club he's at, very similar to the Stephen Dobie type, iconic in a way, and it's Bobby Lynn. It just is. The guy is part-time, he's a binman for God's sake, and he's able to get performance after performance out of himself week in, week out, score goals at championship level now, where he was consistently doing it in League 1, League 2 before. Now he's even going up a further level and scoring goals against full-time teams as well, and not looking out of place at all. So for me, the only option for Arbroath is Bobby Lynn. Currently sitting 7th place in the league is my team Dunfermline, and I'm going to go with Kyle Turner. Now, this is a bit of a debatable one, because at the end of the day we do have a decent amount of overall quality in our squad, but it's debatable who would be the best player that we've currently got. Kyle Turner has no doubt got his deficiencies, but that's because he's a young player and he's still to develop a lot. And the fact we got him on a 2-year deal, I was delighted with that when we signed him in the summer, and ever since we signed him, I've just seen so much quality for the boy, and I think we're really lucky to have him. And if we can nurture him the way that you would hope he could be nurtured, then there's no reason why we can't get a decent amount of money for a player like that as well, because he's got the quality to warrant that. Another side note mention I'm going to say is Greg Kelty, currently on loan for Kilmarnock. He's yet to really show that he's got a lot of quality in everything he does, but when he shows these bits of quality, you can't deny that he is one of the best players in our squad. But for me, as I said, it's Kyle Turner. Greenock Morton now, and it was a tough pick for me because I don't really like Morton's squad, if I'm being honest. I just think that they've got a squad that has decent enough players in it, but not overall massive quality. So I think I'm going to go for just the player that I personally like the most, and that's Nicky Cadden. I just like him, and to be honest, I would have taken him at Dunfermline this season, but obviously Morton shipped in there first, and that's just it. As I said, I'm not a big fan of Morton's squad overall, but I do think Nicky Cadden's the best player out of it. And now we're going to talk about the one that we're currently standing just outside, and that's Alloa Athletic. And the best player at Alloa Athletic just now, I think, is Andy Graham. I just think that he's a leader, and teams like Alloa need a player like that, and Andy Graham personifies a lower league centre half. He personifies the type of player that you need to grind out results, and as I said, Andy Graham is just a warrior. He wins every single header that he wants to win, and that is the vast majority of them. He does fantastic at what he does, and I really do rate the guy. I think a lot of championship teams would take him happily. And another side note mention for Alan Troughton. Of course, he's got a lot of quality. He's scoring goals week in, week out. He's becoming a thorn in every team's side in the championship, including my own team Dunfermline. And just as recent as this weekend against Inverness, he scored the goal to equalise and stop Inverness from going top of the league and get a valuable point for Alloa away from home. So Alan Troughton deserves a massive mention because he's proven doubters wrong every single time. And finishing top scorer at East End Park last season wasn't a bad wee achievement for him as well. And last but not least, currently bottom of the league is Partick Thistle, and it's again a personal opinion, this one. I really like the left back James Penrice. I've always been a fan of this guy, really. He's played a lot of games for Partick Thistle, and that is because he's one of the most consistent players in the division, in my opinion. In terms of Partick Thistle's squad, I think consistent players like that can consistently perform at a high level for you and consistently play games, that's the most important thing for squads at some times, and that's why I rate James Penrice. But that's it for this video, guys. Cheers for watching. I hope you enjoyed this wee change of scenery once again. As I said, if we do a Premiership one, I'll hopefully try and get to a Premiership ground. If not, I'll just change the scenery once again. But if you did enjoy it, please give it a like. Comment down below your thoughts on the best player from each Championship team currently, and subscribe for more of this type of content. And until the next video, I'll see you then. Cheers, guys.